For all the jokes and hot takes about Texas A&M's payout to Jimbo Fisher, there's a side to this that is, it's pretty much of a mystery to me. And I don't think it's mentioned. No, it's not mentioned at all. And it's odd to me. It's only now been mentioned by Dan Wetzel of Yahoo Sports and Jeff Ward. I don't know anybody else that's even asking these questions or this one particular question. Okay, and it goes like this. Stop with the jokes for a little bit. You can stop with the hot takes for a little bit. Just think this one through. Why can't they win more at A&M? Yeah. How come nothing seems to work? And that's not setting you up for an Aggie joke, although some of you might take it that way. It's a legitimate and honest question. It's exactly what I just said. And you can't deny there's plenty of evidence they try. They're about to pay a dude $100 million for trying. You can't say they don't try. Wetzel argues in Yahoo Sports, nobody tries harder. Okay? They try really, really hard. They're all in. Why can't Texas A&M be more than a 4-loss per year program? Because that is exactly what it is and what it has been for a long time. It's a 4-loss per year program. Doesn't matter who the coach is. Doesn't matter what the spending is. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. That's what it is for all the money and all the trying. I'll stop there because I know the standard reaction for people in the state of Texas is, yeah, but what about Texas? It's always the what about. By the way, I think it's part of the Aggie problem, but I'll get to that in a second. Yeah. I mean, Texas often, myself included, is one of the great underachieving brands in all of sports. I would argue that many times that it's the Dallas Cowboys and the Texas Longhorns as the most underachieving, high-profile brands in football. But then I'm guilty of the same thing everyone else is guilty of, and that is forgetting about A&M. They throw as much money as anyone. And they're a 4-loss per year program that is nowhere near a championship. I'm not saying and arguing that for all the money spent and all the coaches that have been burned and tossed aside at Texas, they have won a championship and played for another. Just saying. Probably about to win another one. Big 12, that is. So, yeah, they're underachieving. But to be honest, there are very few powerhouses getting less than what A&M has been getting. Not even close. And they try so hard. Need proof? They can't get it right. All right. The title of this piece at Yahoo Sports today, and I've thought about this before, and this is not even a discussion. Typically, after Jimbo Fisher failure, contract embarrassment, comma, what will it take for Texas A&M to be a winner? Yeah. Why is that? I'm going to end up with a Cleveland Browns reference here or there. Wetzel writes, you can sit around and laugh at as the Aggies' latest gamut, hiring and then extending Jimbo Fisher to massive contracts, blew up in a $77 million mess, but you can't say they didn't try. I would say they always try. It's possible, Wetzel writes, no program in the country tries as hard as Texas A&M to win big. It's just the Aggies don't succeed. Yeah. Here are the numbers, just to put this in perspective. Now, we joke, although it's not far off, just like the Cowboys, they spend more, brag more. Texas spends, and we talk about it all the time. You know what? A&M spends just as much, if not more. And it's not working. And it doesn't add up. It doesn't. So how about this? How mediocre for all the effort? We're not talking about Missouri, okay? We're not talking about Duke. We're talking about a place that is absolutely obsessed with winning in football. So much so, they had this Jimbo Fisher deal. They didn't do that because they wanted to screw up. They did it because they try so freaking hard. They keep getting it wrong. They're like the Cleveland Browns. Bad stuff, man. It doesn't work. It's weird. Okay, so this is from Yahoo Sports. By the way, here's a great comment there. He says, this is Texas A&M. Whatever you need, whatever you want, whatever we can do, ASAP. Yeah, it's exactly what they do. Jimbo Fisher they didn't do that to stay mediocre. They did it and made the incredibly stupid move out of absolute desire and desperation. Nobody tries harder than the Aggies at football. The Aggies have won double-digit games once in 25 years. Notice I'm not at all going to make any mention of a championship at all. I've said that all along that Texas, for the money they spend, the brand that they are, has to be measured on trophies. You have to win championships. Winning isn't enough. You have to win championships to matter. They got nothing. They spend just as much. I got nothing. Double-digit games once in 25 years. And that's because of Johnny Manziel in 2012. That was this magical genie in a bottle, what the hell just happened kind of thing. That's because of him. 2012, that's it. That year in 2020, the only times they've managed to not lose at least 4 games during that stretch. We're talking about 25 years now. They've yet to win the SEC West, let alone the league. 6 times in the past 12 years, Texas A&M reached the Associated Press top 10 during the season. Now let this one sink in. They reached the top 10 during the season, only to wind up unranked in the final poll. Okay. It's a 4-loss program, always. Why? Okay, so you can crunch the Jimbo Fisher flame-out numbers any number of ways, okay? I mean, it's been done. It's almost become kind of a bad joke. They've ended up paying him. Wetzel says, I know it hurts. It's no fun, but let's just get it out of the way because I think it is an example that he's right. I don't know that anyone is trying. Texas tries. They do the same thing. They mostly fail at championships, but they're closer, much. The resume is better, much. Can't think of anybody. Can't think of anybody in a game, the gross industry of professional college football that throws more money, more energy, more resources, more pride at trying to win in football and can't get it right. That's what the Jimbo Fisher, on top of all the gross things about it, the money, on top of the gross thing about the Jimbo Fisher firing, they did that because they really tried that hard. They're trying to win. They think they got it right. I compared it. Did I not compare it a week ago to Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns? Oh, my gosh. I wasn't that far off. And I don't know that I'm going to give you an answer, but we'll try here. Okay, so let's get the ugliness out of the way, the money that exchanged hands. Jimbo Fisher was paid about $122 million for 6 seasons of work. $122 million for 6 seasons of work. That's $20 million per year. That is $2.71 million per win. And most of those wins have come against cream puffs, the directional schools of the world. It's worse than what is reported, actually. I know their whole thing is a couple wins over Alabama. Everything is on that. So the numbers are, as you know, are pretty sickening. So, okay, why can't they win? It really is, in an odd way, like the Cleveland Browns. The Aggies aren't terrible, but it's nowhere near as good as it should be. It is Cowboys-like. They try so hard, but they can't get it right. They're like the jealous ex. We can do all these things now to just put in perspective how maddening and frustrating it is for someone that cares so much. It's the jealous ex that, keeps posting pictures and dating people just to spite their ex. Right? Just obsessed with trying to show them up. It doesn't work. Backfires, right? Keeps going horribly wrong. I think they're trying too hard. This may need a PhD. It may need some therapy. There may be, I don't know, management-wise. I don't know that they do anything that differently in terms of finding players, taking care of players. I mean, my God, there's nowhere else in this country where people are more singularly obsessed with football than there. Passion is second to none. At Texas, if the game is no good, the people go do something else. My God, at College Station, it'll be full all day and night. Nobody cares more and tries more and gets less in return. And then this deal. So it is like the Browns, especially now. They've lost their quarterback. They can't get it right. The obsession with Texas, and herein I think has been a problem. And some of you with PhDs, we have to do a little bit of therapy here. Maybe you can find a solution to this. But the obsession with Texas drives so much. And I think it drives so much it's become a mistake and a big problem. The obsession with Texas is, I think it's created some paralysis by analysis. If it's possible to try too hard, if it's possible to swing too hard in the batter's box, that is precisely what A&M does. And a lot of it, not all of it, don't fight with me, not all of it is based on an obsession with Texas. Okay? Paralysis by analysis, I said it. I'm even going to do another analogy. You ready for this one? Okay? You know exactly what I'm saying. If you're not a very good swimmer, okay, and you want to swim faster, you want to be more efficient as a swimmer. When you're a bad swimmer, you slap the water, your arms flail, you expend a ton of energy, and you don't really go anywhere. The harder you try in swimming, the worse it gets. You go nowhere, and you get tired very quickly. It's like the Aggies are swimming way too hard, right? Just flailing and slapping that water. They bail on the Big 12. Texas didn't care. Texas, I always thought it was wrong that they didn't continue to play each other. I think it's wrong on every single level, and it's mostly Texas's fault. They simply don't care. Texas didn't care that A&M was going to the best league. A&M bails on the Big 12 to get away from Texas, I think. And I don't know that I necessarily blame them. They want to get away from Texas, and they also strategically probably had a pretty good idea, and that is, hey, look, we're going to go the best league at the time in football, still, now Pac-12 right now, but we want to go that league. We want to be able to be in a different league than Texas, just get away from them because they don't care, and then we want to be able to sell the state of Texas in the SEC to recruits. Again, makes perfect sense. We're in the best league in the country. That's going to produce draft picks, which they have. They've run laps around Texas in terms of turning out first-round players and all that stuff. That move did not work. In fact, that move completely has backfired. They chased a national championship coach. I think of swimming really hard. Right, you're slapping that water. You are just trying so hard, and you are going nowhere. You're going to start choking a little bit. They chase a national championship winning coach, Jimbo Fisher. He wasn't a train wreck at Florida State. A lot of people, including the Aggies, thought it was the right move at the time, and not that many people disagreed. Now, some of us, myself included, said you are fools to redo that deal, but they chased him originally because they thought they were making the right move. They thought they were a good resume away from closing the deal. Texas had won a championship. Texas had played for another. Why can't we get it right? Let's go chase a guy that's won a title before. So they chased Jimbo Fisher. They threw money at him to come. And then they threw more money at him to win big. And it was a absolute, complete disaster, obviously. And the question is why? Not just Jimbo Fisher. Why? Why can't they get it? Why can't they be better? There's no metric, right? There's no metric. I mean, a good league, okay, so it's a tough league. You get punched in the nose a little bit, but you're sitting in arguably outside of maybe the state of Florida, more great high school players. There's no denying the money will be spent. As Wetzel pointed out, what do you want? And we'll give it to you ASAP. You can't deny there's a more passionate fan base. People care. I think it's a horrible place to live, but that's just me. I'm a guy from Austin. But I assume to a lot of young guys, they're going to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. They're going to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Why wouldn't they go to College Station? They are. And they can't win. They're a 4-loss program no matter how much is spent, no matter who is coaching, no matter who is quarterbacking. So Wetzel makes some really good points. Stuff that I've mentioned before that it just, when you think about it, you step back, and I guess people just didn't know enough about A&M until this giant dollar amount, made it a laughing stock. But they've been really, really trying, desperately trying. Let's see. He says, these are national writers who have made good observations. Whatever you need, whatever you want, whatever you can do ASAP. Double digits once in 25 years. He says patience is probably a virtue here, but it's understandable if the Aggies lack patience. They've been doing everything imaginable for a long time, and they've gotten little from it. Besides, some of their prior advantages are now gone. They can no longer tell Lone Star recruits that they and they alone are part of the best league in the country. True. So, too, is Oklahoma, which draws major talent from Texas and whose campus sits about as close to Dallas-Fort Worth with Metroplex as College Station. They can't hide from the Longhorns and Sooners any longer. Very true. I always thought that the end of Jimbo Fisher, sort of that horrific moment, was going to be Texas trots in and then beats him in the first year of the SEC. I mean, that would have been, I believe that was the day that he would get fired and not even make it, to the locker room. But I think just thinking this through, thinking it over, they're furious. I bet you they sit around and talk. My gosh, we're trying hard. We're really trying so hard. That Ward guy says we're trying too hard. I heard him say something like we're swimming, have a really bad stroke, and we're getting tired in the water. Yeah, it's all that stuff. It's all that stuff. Okay. Right, at this point, the talk show host is supposed to have these great solutions. At this point, the talk show host is supposed to have these hot takes that are going to tell you exactly how to fix it. Okay, Jeff, nobody tries harder than Texas A&M, and it hasn't worked. True. Okay, they're embarrassed by the money. Not so true. So what's the answer? I don't know. What else can they try? How about this? I don't think it's going to happen, but this is the only advice I have at this point. It's fascinating. It's disturbing. The world is a better place. It would be. The football world would be a much, much better place if they were really good. Could you imagine how cool it would be? A really good Texas, a really good A&M team playing for something. Not just people cracking jokes and trashing each other. I mean, really play for trophies. How cool would that be? All right, Jeff, what's the answer? I don't know. I don't think it's possible, but maybe you should try caring less. Right? This is it. This is all I have. Try less, meditate more.